They did not want the Heat to win the game last night. Somebody. Now, I don't know who it was.
I ain't one of those front door kind of guys. I come through the back door.
I try to look at things from a different perspective. But if you tell me that LeBron can get a triple-double, Dwayne Wade is going to go for 39, and Bosh gets 17, and they lose? And they lose the game in overtime at home after having a 22-point lead. I'm lost. I don't know what to say. What we saw in that game was one of the craziest things you'll ever see. A guy named Paul Millsap going for 46 makes 3 3-pointers. 3 3-pointers out of 3 attempts in the last 30 seconds of regulation. And they're just throwing the ball. He's just throwing it up. No rim. It's like NBA Jam in 92, and the net was on fire. I mean, that's what it looked like. I could hear Marv Albert, yes! And that's all I could hear. Every time, they just threw him the ball, and he just chucked it up. No rim. Then, doesn't get blocked out by Haslam on the final shot of the game, and makes a crazy one-handed layup, no rim, to send it to overtime. Unbelievable. Totally unbelievable. So LeBron gets the triple-double, mess around and got a triple-double, and Wade gets 39, but Millsap's 46. And Darren Williams, who's unstoppable, got 21 with 14 assists. He's the only Jazz player in double figures. This is a bad sign for a couple reasons. You get all that stuff from your big three from the Heat. You're at home. You have a 22-point lead. You cannot lose. I don't care what game number it is. I don't care if it's the 8th game of the year or the 80th game of the year. You can't lose. Because you are now a bozo. You have now bozoed yourself in front of everybody. And this is not like, oh, well, they must have been sitting LeBron. No. LeBron got 47 minutes. He barely sat down. Bosh got 41. Wade got 42. This isn't a deal where they got up by 20, 25 points and then said, let's cruise in. That's not what happened. They were trying, man. And they couldn't stop Paul Millsap. Imagine when you have Pau Gasol to deal with. Imagine when you have Kobe Bryant to deal with. Ron Artest. No chance. It's early. But that was a really bad sign for the Miami Heat. Maybe it's the wake-up call they needed. Sometimes it helps when someone fires a shotgun off right by your head. Sometimes it scares the crap out of you. Which is it going to be? I don't know, but
I'll be watching you.
That's for sure. So we'll see what happens. But on a similar note, Paul Millsap was unconscious. The entire team for the Indiana Pacers was unconscious. The entire team. They made 20 shots in a row in one quarter. Scored 54 points. They were 20 for 21 that quarter. The only shot they missed was at the last second. Some guy threw up a three. He didn't realize they hadn't missed a shot in the quarter. He said he would have never shot it. It was just the last second shot. 20 shots in a row. Something weird was going on. Was there a full moon last night? Did I miss that? Or was the tide changing? Was the stars aligning? I don't know what it was. There was some weird stuff going on in the NBA last night, but it was all very entertaining. Lakers go to 8-0. The Timberwolves shot lights out and still couldn't beat the Lakers, who were clearly, I hate to say, half-assing it, but let's just say they were on cruise control in this game. Pretty obviously, when you look at exactly what happened in that game. It was one of those things where the Lakers were never really behind. When it got close, they always pulled away. They constantly were pulling away when it was needed, and getting the ball in and scoring at will. The thing about Pau Gasol, the guy can just score when he wants. I mean, anytime he wants to score, he can score. If there's any way to get him the ball, he can score. He will get cocky sometimes and try to do moves that are unnecessary. But bottom line is, he's going to get his. And I haven't seen anyone yet who's going to be able to stop him. Now, that could change, but so far I haven't seen anybody that's going to be able to stop him. I mean, Gasol, he's only playing 38 minutes last night. scoring 18 points, just coasting, 10 rebounds, double-double. Just another double-double. One of those deals. And, Kobe gets 33. They win by 5 points. Lakers go to 8. No, Hornets stay undefeated as well. Hornets stay undefeated with a 101-82 victory over the Clippers. And you have to say, right now in the NBA, the best point guard is Chris Paul, and probably has been for the past few years. Why isn't he more popular? Because he's in New Orleans. That's why.
Yeah!
You know what I'm saying? New Orleans, that place that people go to party and not remember stuff? That's where he is. Not very rememberable. And, although the Saints have done good things in recent times and have become very popular in New Orleans, and the Hornets have been really strong team. Very solid. Remember, Emeka Okafor is the guy who leads the league in field goal percentage at 72%. That's insane. That's because he's getting alley-oops from Chris Paul left and right. But the Hornets are still undefeated. And I look at this and I go, hey, the power rankings yesterday, remember that? They said the Heat was number 1. What a joke. We won't be looking at that ever again. But, I look at this and I see that, the Hornets are one of the best teams in the league right now. And it's not just because they're undefeated. It's because of all the tools they have and the fact that they're always able to come out on top. How about Kevin Love last night for the Timberwolves throwing up 23 points and 24 boards? That's a healthy double-double is what I call that. That's like a quadruple-double almost. When you talk about a guy who gets over 20 rebounds and scores over 20 points, it reminds me of something that a guy like even Dennis Rodman only did a few times. It's hard to score 20-some points and get 20-some rebounds. That's just not that easy. And it wasn't like he was camping out under the goal on defense either. 11 offensive rebounds and 13 defensive rebounds. Kevin Love, give him some love. He deserves it. But this is the one thing that really bothers me, though. The thing that really bothers me is the World Series of Poker, final table last night. They bring these guys back. I think it's stupid to do it that way. They play, for 8 straight days in like June. And then the 9 guys who are left come back in November to play the final table. I think that's just too choppy. They need to continue to play until it's done. I know they do it for TV and because, we don't want anyone to know who won before they start playing the whole thing. I get all that. But that's just too weird. Now, the thing that bothers me about it is that the guy who ended up winning the $9 million, Jonathan Duhamel from Canada, he basically tried to go away. I mean, he tried to donk off all of his chips. He started the final table with like 80 million chips, by far and away the chip leader, had more than half the chips in play. Then goes and just starts firing chips away, playing like an idiot. He calls an all-in for all of his chips with ace-9 offsuit in the small blind. Ace-9 offsuit. Unfortunately, he was able to win the race with the grinder, who's my homeboy, who I was really hoping would win and ended up getting 5th. And he still walked home with like $2.3 million, so not that big of a deal. But he tried to dunk off all his chips. I'm just so sick. I'm so sick of the winner of the World Series of Poker being someone who sucks at poker. Now, I know you have to make some good moves along the 8 days and in the final table to ultimately win. But I keep seeing these donkeys. I mean, the guy Chung, who's actually from San Diego, the guy who, he took a huge amount of chips from to become the overwhelming chip leader to go heads up, re-raised 4 or 5 bet a pot with ace-7 offsuit. That's not poker, man. You get re-raised the second time, dude, you let it go, bro. Let it go. It's ace-7. You can't win a showdown with that. There's no way. Unless you have the other guy on a total 100% bluff.
Never rub another man's rhubarb.
It's just not that likely. It's just not that likely. Get rid of it. That's what a good player does. They get rid of it. They don't just keep betting at it. That's what donkeys do. And he donked off a ton of chips to Duhamel, who then was able to just, dork his way through and win the thing. $9 million. Now, the pros love this. They love it when some ding-dong wins a bunch of money because he's going to start showing up at the big game. The big game is where you can only buy in. The minimum buy-in is $100,000, and the maximum buy-in is $1 million. And they go and they play, 600, 1,200 blinds for big dollars. And he's going to be showing up at that game with $1 million at a time until there isn't any more money there. A guy like that will get smoked by the guys who are going to be at that game. Daniel Negreanu, Gus Hansen is going to be at that game. Phil Ivey's going to be at that game. Howard Lederer is going to be there. There's going to be other people. Daniel Elahi is going to be in that game. There's going to be a bunch of players who will just take his money, slowly but surely, until there's no more left. That's kind of sad, isn't it? I mean, the guy's on the top of the world. He's got the coolest bracelet in the world, but he's going to go donk off all of his money. I can almost guarantee it. So hopefully joining us in the program today will be William McDonald with the McDonald Legal Group. I'm going to try to grab him on the phone if we can't get him on the way to the studio today. I know he had court this morning, so I'm not sure what's going on there. We'll get you an update. We're going to do some. We're going to go through some different things that are going on, give you some debt relief ideas. And I tell you something right now. One of the things that I pride myself on is being able to tell you things that they don't want you to know. There's a lot of them. Because they want to keep us nice and quiet, just keep us paying our bills and making them money. But the number one thing that they don't want you to know about is how good Chapter 7 bankruptcy can be for you and your family. Chapter 7 bankruptcy is when you basically eliminate all your debt. You get to start over. You get to say, okay, I have all these debts here. I got into a bad situation. I'm making less money, whatever it may be. My credit cards have doubled the interest rates, doubled my minimum payments. I can't pay anymore. You get to delete the debts and start over. That's what it is. It only takes 100 days. Credit score goes higher almost every single time. You realize that? How crazy is that? Why isn't there an advertisement like that on TV? You know why? Because they don't want you to know. They don't want you to know how good it is, because when you win, they lose. Now, if you have any financial stress at all, I don't care what it is, Chapter 7 bankruptcy and deleting all of your debts, credit cards, collections, medical bills, all that stuff, you can start fresh. You can keep what you want to keep. You want to keep your car? Keep it. Want to keep your home? Keep it. You get to choose. I mean, how amazing is that?
Really?
I'm telling you. I know how this stuff works, and I can make sure your credit is protected. All you have to do is call William McDonald for a free consultation. 858-437-0103. 858-437-0103 to get your free consultation with William McDonald, McDonald Legal Group, who will be in the studio when we come back on Mr. Credit, ESPN 1700, where we're telling you everything they don't want you to know.
I've worked with plenty of different mortgage companies in San Diego, and while there are some who do a great job, there is only one that I can say is truly the best in the business. The Craig Sewing Lending Group provides an experience and expertise in real estate financing that is absolutely second to none. I've known Craig for a dozen years, and I know you would be satisfied working with him. Call 888-880-9500. That's 888-880-9500, or go to craigsewing.com if you're interested in buying real estate in Southern California. It's also worth considering the terms on your loan if you already own property. Rates are at levels that just absolutely boggle the mind right now, and chances are you could save some easy money here. Call Craig Sewing today, 888-880-9500, and tell him Mr. Credit sent you. That's 888-880-9500, or online at craigsewing.com.
Well, you bought her a car, you bought the house, you even bought her that rock. Oh, but now you'll call 1-800-DIVORCE, so she won't clean your clock.
Hey men, if you're facing a divorce, custody, or child support issue, don't go it alone. You need the professionals at 1-800-DIVORCE to help protect your rights.
This is Rick Jones of the law firm Goldberg & Jones. Selecting the right attorney for your divorce is one of the most important decisions a man can make. Even though your case may last only a few months, the impact lasts a lifetime. Our firm represents husbands and fathers in divorce, custody, and child support cases.
Call 1-800-DIVORCE. Get your phone questions answered at no charge. That's 1-800-DIVORCE, serving the entire greater San Diego area.
Call 1-800-DIVORCE.
Are your wages being garnished? Are you sick of seeing your paycheck be less than what you really earned? If you have any judgments that might be garnishing your wages and you would like to make it stop, filing for Chapter 7 bankruptcy relief could allow you to eliminate any judgments and all of your credit card debt.